So my name is Yarona Boster, and my talk is named How Loss Shapes Who We Are and How We Live. And I am a life coach. I specialize in parenting coaching as well as loss, trauma, and infertility. And I'm also finishing my speaker coach certification through Thought Leader, and I hope to help many more people create a successfully viral TEDx talk. I came to the realization that I had a lot of important life lessons surrounding loss from both a personal perspective and a professional perspective. I had 15 years in the field of early childhood, specifically with children with birth to 3 with developmental delays and disabilities. And in that time, I started to see kind of like an issue regarding loss. And I really wanted to get my message out there for people dealing with loss as well as the struggles of parenting, and especially as it relates to loss and trauma, but also just the recognition that there is a regularity to loss and what I call foundational losses. And since I've seen so much pain and suffering, I realized that there are so many parents really struggling to raise children in an age where we are more globally connected, but less community connected than we've ever been before. And as a result, I just started to have this thought process that kind of went into this place of what I came to the realization as foundational losses. And I noticed that a lot of light bulbs started going off around when I would talk to parents about this concept. And I started seeing a change as a direct relation of the conversations that I was having with parents, especially in the field that I was working in. And it shifted something in me. And I realized that I had a message to share in it, and I needed to get it out there. And sort of for me, I came to a light bulb decision that was like, can I do this? Well, I'm going to try. So once I realized I wanted to give one, it started this permeation in my brain of like, well, how do I go about doing that? And I actually didn't even attempt to try it on my own. I ended up finding Thought Leader rather quickly as I started to realize that, okay, this is something I want to do. And it kind of like, and as I learned a little bit more about what Thought Leader was and what it does, what it could do for a person, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. So I didn't actually face any challenges trying to do it on my own because I didn't even bother trying. I just went straight with Thought Leader. Yeah, definitely the steps, things that seem quite overwhelming because they look seemingly unattainable, when they're broken down into steps, are so much more manageable. And that's exactly what Thought Leader did. I just didn't even realize that there were steps to the process until they just laid it out. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this. It's one step at a time. Yeah, this makes sense. I love structure. So anything that breaks down steps for how to do something, to me, feels a lot less overwhelming when you have that. It's like if you're looking at something from afar and you're like, okay, I want to go to outer space, well, there's steps to get there. And that's what Thought Leader did. They just broke down the steps, and it makes it it was so clear. These individualized steps are so much more doable, because you start to see that it is a process as opposed to this, like, I'm going to go to the Olympics. It's like, that's just too big, it's like, I'm going to do a TED talk. Oh, it's just, and it makes it so much less overwhelming. So I was all in once I realized that there were steps. I was like, I love steps. So it's easy. Is actually phenomenal in and of itself with Thought Leader. Because when you get into the community, you start to actually see like, wow, there's so many community members that are being chosen, not just for one talk, but for many talks, to the point where they can say, I'm going to decline this one. And that was like, and it was so great because it was like, it felt really comforting to actually be not just on your own with this, but coming from a community where you have a structure and you can even work together. And that community sense, it was like, you can see that we are so much stronger together because we benefit from the support we're offering each other on this journey. I tend to have a hard time bringing up things that I've done. So I sort of sneak it in because it feels like I'm not I tend to not be the type of person who's like, I've done this and this and this. So when I kind of have these natural conversations that occur with people, and I tell them that I've done a TEDx talk, and they're like, wait, what? And you see, like, they're like, I can't believe I'm talking to somebody who's done a TEDx talk. And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm just another person. And then we end up in this really beautiful wealth of conversation, because for some reason that does tend to change and shift people's mindset to being like, oh, and you're a parenting coach, and your talk has to do with a lot regarding parenting, but actually just also people in general, and loss and things like that. And so then it's definitely opening people's more minds to the idea of like, okay, yeah, I think she knows what she's talking about. I could work with this person, so it definitely lends its own credence to the power of like your standing in the community, in your own community, and in the world at large. So it definitely feels good. Definitely feels good.